Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to look at some new Flood lore, courtesy of the Halo Spartan Field Manual, that explains exactly what happens in the terrifying eventuality of a Spartan getting infected by the Flood. Now for those who are wondering whether or not this is even possible, I did make a video about it, but basically, despite the neurological alterations made to Spartans, and the fact that we don't know of any Spartan that has ever actually been infected, it is still 100% possible. It's just a lot less likely than, say, a Marine getting infected, for various incredibly obvious reasons. So let's begin with some ways that Spartans try to stop this from happening. The first is with wargames training simulations that have been engineered and designed specifically to prepare Spartans for the unlikely event of a Flood outbreak. So we know of 3 of these simulations, the first of which is Halo 4's Flood mode that replaced Infection, the second is Halo 2 Anniversary's Infection mode, and the third is Halo 5's Infection mode. So in Halo 4's Flood mode, the simulation creates a sort of mock-up of what an infected Spartan could hypothetically look like, based on a number of factors. This isn't by any means a canon representation of an infected Spartan, it's just a sort of educated guess that's made by a very intelligent futuristic algorithm. One interesting thing to note though is the lack of infection form, but that's not exactly relevant for this video. Halo 2 Anniversary's Infection mode features more accurate looking mock-ups of infected Spartans, with the infection form erupting from the visor, and Halo 5's infected Spartans just simply have a green sickly glow. In some of these simulations, Spartans are simply ordered to survive an infinite horde of Flood, whereas in other modes, they're given various different tasks and objectives to complete while being assaulted by endless waves of Flood, to help them train for any task that might have to be carried out should the Flood break containment. Certain countermeasures have also been designed on the Gen 2 Mjolnir platform, used mostly by Spartan 4s, to help make the infection of Spartans as difficult as possible for the Flood. Armor sets such as Cinder and Hazop are designed specifically to counter biohazard threats, and specialized Spartan task forces that are designated with guarding Flood research facilities on Halo rings very likely wear these suits of armor given the severity of the threat they're dealing with. But sometimes, regardless of their training or armor, these countermeasures fail. In the event of a Spartan being infected by the Flood, the code word Corruptor is broadcast over the UNSC BattleNet to all nearby operators. This code word signifies that a Spartan has fallen to the Flood, containment has been breached, and weapons of mass destruction have officially been authorized for use to ensure containment. Yep, that's right, if only a single Spartan gets infected by the Flood, then the UNSC is authorized to use WMDs like Mac cannons, Havoc tactical nukes, Shiva and Hyperion class nukes, and all other forms of mass destruction just to stop one single Spartan. That's how serious it is. Upon hearing Corruptor, any Spartan that isn't assigned to a specialized Flood containment fire team is immediately ordered to activate the emergency biohazard response, codenamed Upsilon. Upsilon is one of the UNSC and UEG's primary emergency contact protocols that is used for any Flood-related containment breach. When declared, Spartans immediately move to limit Flood expansion and initiate a full quarantine. All UEG and UNSC rules of engagement are also suspended until the outbreak is fully contained and the area is fully secured. If any Marine or ODST hears Corruptor over their comms, we can also assume that they will likely be ordered to do the same thing, except at a larger distance considering they're a lot easier to infect. Evacuation of those in the vicinity can occur, but given the severity of the situation and the need for incredibly swift action, sadly it isn't always possible. As soon as the code word is given, the clock starts ticking, and it really isn't that long before the AO is absolutely obliterated by a lethal WMD. And let's be honest here, these extreme safety measures make total sense. Not only do the Flood make use of the extreme strength and abilities of their host, they also make use of their intelligence. All their knowledge is assimilated into the hive mind, and given that Flood containment Spartans who spend most of their time around the Flood are the most likely of the Spartans to be infected, all of the passwords, codes, and strategies used by them and the UNSC to quarantine the Flood would be known by the Flood, making breaking quarantine worryingly easy. You're literally giving the prisoners the keys to open their cells. That, and the thought of the Flood having infected wanton super soldiers with hyper-advanced suits of armor and the knowledge to use it, and also any weapon they can find, more than necessitates the use of WMDs, in my opinion at least. So, that is what happens in the terrifying case of a Spartan getting infected by the Flood. It is yet to happen, as far as we know at least, but according to Spartan Thorn in a field manual, there have been numerous Flood outbreaks since the end of the Human Covenant War that Flood containment Spartan fire teams have managed to quell. Maybe one day we'll get a story about one of these quarantines not exactly going as planned, and you get to see Upsilon and Corruptor in action. One day. We can only hope. And that should do it for today. Let me know down in the comments if you think that the UNSC using weapons of mass destruction to stop just one Spartan from getting infected is overkill, or if you think that it's a totally reasonable containment procedure. Honestly, given how strong a Flood-infected Spartan would be, I can see both sides of the debate, so I'd be really interested to see your thoughts and to see which side most people tend to lean on. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody supporting me over on Patreon: Ardent, Tomahawk, Evan, Momo, Shikata, Mjolnir, Matthew, Pierre, Tony, Jim, Zack, Jack Madden, Eric Brown, Sam Grafton, Bruin98, and Hayden Woods. As per usual, I really do appreciate the support, guys. It does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.